How's it going, everyone? How's it going? Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for tuning in tonight for a very important conversation um, about artificial intelligence and essentially the future and how or we'll be exchanging on ideas on how we could possibly navigate the upcoming um, sort of AI revolution. I guess we're not even upcoming, we're kind of here. Curlin, how's it going? Curlin. D Mac, how's it going? Cynical One, how's it going? Let me make sure because I got eyes on me tonight. Let me not fuck this up. Okay. While we wait for the ladies and BGS to come on in, how's it going, everyone? Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Um, let's see, making sure I have everything set up here. Didn't really get much of a chance to set up my topics like I wanted to, but that's okay because it's going to be interactive anyways. Carlin, speaking of which, I got FL Studio 21 and Bidwig Studio yeah, Bidwig Studio 5. So it's been a minute since I've actually done any like DJing and music production. I have to I have to get back into it. I might actually do that tonight. I think I'll probably do an hour of notes and then probably some, I don't know. I ain't gonna make no promises. Okay. All right. So while we wait, there is I have Bitwig 8-track and FL. The thing I love about FL Studio, you can use FL Studio, the entire DAW as an FST and to like Ableton Live. I don't know if you could do it in Bitwig, but that is amazing. Anywho, last week, but everything I've made so far has been on NPC. Yeah, I know you love that thing. Here's my thing, because I'm pretty sure like the NPC portable is still $1,000. Um, I've been looking at the Akai Force for like forever. And I think that's also 1,000, but a lot more flexible. Um, and then of course there's the Push 3. There's just so much. There's so much gear, and I'm not really into hardware gear, but man, it's a lot. I might get both actually. I might just bite the bullet and just get both. Um, okay, let's pull up. Sister George proposed a question last week. Let me make sure I have the correct tab. Share tab audio is checked. Um, where is it? This one. Okay. And we'll do that. And we'll do that. All right. It's a question that I asked, and we'll start things from here.
Out to MGTOW again. He said, speaking of which, Congress got Apple, Microsoft, Google,
I don't know why this internet starts to show its ass when I start live streaming.
Stability AI, and Open AI on board to add watermarking to prompt outputs.
Oh, really?
MGTOW, do you think that the laws are actually caught up to what the technology, which I think it takes time for laws to catch up to the actual technology. So the shit that they're coming up with laws for, okay, you can watermark it now, but in a minute we're not going to be able to. The fact that people can mimic your voice. I saw something I was on CBS. 1 in 4 people have been phone cloned. So my brother-in-law, somebody called us and told us that they had our brother-in-law captured.
Oh, they tried y'all.
Already.
I saw that going around.
Already. And so
Wow.
if you guys don't have like code words or safe
You got
words
a safe word.
for your
have one.
family, y'all need a safe word for your family. You
I
need a
had
safe
one
word
with
for
my
your family.
husband. I developed one with my daughters because I didn't have
Yes.
one with them. And when I saw this type of stuff happening, we developed one. Yes, that is very important. Develop a safe word with your loved ones because the stuff that they're doing is absolutely crazy.
Yeah. And so I want y'all to think about that because shit is moving faster than we can keep up with, I believe. So
oh yeah, that's what the father of AI was saying. That's why he was saying it's about to get dangerous. Did you see the conference with all those AI robots that they had, child?
no.
Oh my gosh, the UN conference.
Hey ladies, how's it going? I did get the invite, right?
With all the AI robots, the nurse, the police officer, like these are AI robots that they're about to employ. Asking them, are they taking people's jobs? Maybe a couple of them had straight attitudes. Was giving you two.
Oh, they didn't get the invite. Okay, all right. I'll go ahead and drop the link here. It might be in your spam, but no worries. There's an invite. All right.
And then the crazy part is these companies are saying they don't really know how the technology is working. I saw one where I think it was Google was like a machine like was able to learn a Bangladeshi language and they don't know how. They can't figure out how. The machine wasn't configured for this language. It learned the language and they can't figure out how.
Okay, we'll stop it there. Sister George, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going?
Hey, what's going on?
I am well. How about yourself?
It's been a fucking day, but I'm here.
Well, it can't be too bad. Tomorrow is today's Friday Eve, tomorrow's
Oh,
Friday.
I wish you understood.
Where's your partner in crime? Is she coming?
If she was in the chat, she's probably coming. But
Okay.
yeah, I was like, usually we send people links, but
I did email it. I don't know. He may be in spam, whatever. Okay. So what C Rose is talking about, where a large language model, an LLM, like ChatGPT or Bard or what's another one, Claude, when they learn a language, and this actually happened earlier this year around, I want to say March, with ChatGPT learning Persian, and it wasn't trained for it. That is called emergence, where the bot learned something that it wasn't trained for. It wasn't expected. It essentially uses data from other domains to form new branches, new knowledge structures. And that's what scares people.
yeah. That's really scary. And it doesn't seem like there's a cap on that or there's a way that they can figure it out, because if you're putting certain things into a machine and then the machine starts to remix and come up with its own, we've seen the movies where the machines have taken over, like, so that's what I'm thinking is about to happen.
Right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what's scary, because like Skynet could theoretically happen with emergence, because we can't really predict on the direction of emergence. That would be kind of like self-defeating. So today it may learn Persian, tomorrow it may, I don't know, hack the our defense network somehow, some way. I don't think it'll get bad at like the Skynet scenario. I really don't think it'll get that bad.
Then it's interesting that you don't think that it's gonna get that bad, but people that worked at Google, they think it's gonna get that bad.
So the grandfather or the godfather of AI, he used to work at Google. He actually quit. Hey C Rose, how's it going?
Hey. How's it going?
Charlie?
Hey lady.
Awesome. Okay. So the godfather of AI. I forgot his name. He's been doing interviews left and right on 60 Minutes and stuff like that. He left when essentially ChatGPT was released because that's kind of like the first step. And there are concerns. I'm not saying that there aren't concerns. There are actual steps that military has taken to kind of like close roomed off. There's actual process. I forgot what it's called, where the defense network isn't actually connected to some I don't know auxiliary network that's connected to the internet somehow, and then somehow Skynet can hacking into it, and then we have the Terminators. I want to believe, and this is hopium. This is all hopium. So I'll come to that. I want to believe our government, our defensive network, isn't that dumb. Like they pay people hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to prevent that very thing from happening.
So the computer, the AI thing, learning Persian out of nowhere, or learning how to speak languages out of nowhere that they weren't programmed for. That's scary. It's very scary.
Very much. And it's almost like what the father of AI was saying was foreshadowing, and we didn't even have to wait very long to see signs of what he was saying. And with him saying that, technology, and that we have no clue of what's to come, and that at the speed that technology is about to move.
Right.
So that's the negative part. What about the positives? What if through
you mean like the job loss for millions of black women?
No. We'll get to that.
I thought that would have been a positive for you.
It is, but for a different reason. For a very different reason. No, we're not gonna go down that road.
That's why y'all excited about it. Y'all like AI is getting ready to wipe these bitches out. Let's go. MGTOW. Y'all got to relax.
Customer service will be dead by 2030. 100%.
I believe that. I absolutely believe that. I absolutely believe it. So I saw somebody make a post. Okay, I don't know if you follow Solo TV 84. But
it's been a minute, but yeah, I know of him.
Okay. He did a post about AI a couple of days ago, and let me see if he has it on his. Okay. So it is on his community thing. He said 2030 the emergence of artificial general intelligence will replace hundreds of millions of jobs. We've talked about this very recently on GoDaddy Live. What do you think about the hundreds of millions of jobs being lost?
Yeah, the Wall Street Journal said, I think they estimated 300 million by 2030. Wow. Honestly, I think that's kind of, I don't know if that's nationally or globally, but
I think they were saying globally.
So any job that is algorithmic, meaning that there's usually like a mental flow chart that you have when you clock into work. This is what you do when you clock in, and you follow these steps, and then when you clock out, that's the end of your task. That's most jobs. That's most jobs. Even sales, there's usually a flow chart. The flow chart is a lot more complicated, but it's still a flow chart. People are hyping up, like I talk about WGU all the time. People are hyping up accounting. I think that's going to be dead by 2032. I mean, with code interpreter in Excel. Well, Excel is all, Excel with VBA, and then code interpreter with ChatGPT. And of course, you have Claude, you have Bard, and you have all these other tools. I don't see it lasting. I don't. Unless a company is just not, they're not willing to take the risk of using it. That's the only saving grace. But I'm not seeing that, because you can literally save your business millions of dollars a year. cutting out those jobs. So I don't see it. Now, what
They're
happens
saying
with
that
the
there's not going to be any untapped market that's not going to be affected by it. Like, and I technically work in finance, but it's like analyst work. So I know that my sector will be affected by it. But I've heard that there's not really that majority of the markets will be impacted in some capacity.
Are you using Code Interpreter in your day to day?
No, we use a lot of we're very our systems are very old. We're still using like Excel and we input everything in. We run everything through Excel. So we have our own dedicated programming that does a lot of the back end work, but we still have a lot of outputs through Excel.
So I don't know what you do for work, but I noticed you said data analysis. You started using you could probably automate most of your job or semi-automate
Mhm.
it using Code Interpreter by I don't know, inputting a CSV file and having it make predictions, pull up graphs, make
Mhm. Mhm.
reports, all that stuff. Um, again, data analyst. I don't see it. I don't see it lasting. I really
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, I gotta step away for a little minute. I'm gonna be listening in. I won't be able to talk, but
Another
I'll be
spider.
here.
Yeah, I am not an analyst, but I work very closely, and a lot of what I do is relies on the output of the data analysts. So I know like my sector will absolutely be impacted. And I think to be completely honest, that seems to be the greatest concern for most people is like people feel like there's, no job security, like, which, we already know that these companies can give a damn about us. But I think that is what has most people shook.
Do you think you may be out of a job very soon?
Oh no, not very soon because I'm one of one at my company.
Oh,
I'm the only person who has the capacity to do what I do, and my job is kind of a catch-all. Like I have a dual position. I do training and compliance. I do
okay.
training and compliance. So, but I'm the only person who does it. So, no time soon. I don't foresee it
Awesome.
happening anytime soon.
Awesome. Um, Sister George posed a question in that live stream last week about lawmakers being able to keep up with like the advancements. Do you
Mm.
think that the laws can keep up?
No. Not at this rate. I don't even see that there's an interest. I feel like the way in which our policies and laws are going right now, that we're moving backwards. We're not like modernizing in any way. So no, not at this stage. I would have to say no. Do you?
No, not at all. And even if I know they're coming out with, well, I know that that super chat, with Apple and Microsoft, Google and
Mm-hmm.
Stability AI, the company that makes Stable Diffusion, they've come to, I guess, a verbal agreement to start watermarking their outputs.
Mm-hmm.
So what essentially that means is if you create like a deep fake image through Stable Diffusion and let's say like a celebrity, right? Because really you don't really need paparazzis anymore if you could just create your own images of celebrities. You can
Mm-hmm.
be able to tell through reverse steganography, essentially looking at the binary code on if it was generated through a large language model or not. And the way that these watermarks usually work is like there's usually a pattern in the code that can tell, and it's proprietary, and it's on a hush hush. But
Mm-hmm.
not that it matters because Meta came out with Llama 2 weeks ago. They said it was watermarked, and in 3 days it was hacked and
Yeah.
got rid of.
That's the other thing. Like the increased hacking is through the roof. Like the more advancements we have in technology, the smarter these hackers are getting. And it's kind of like that's par for the course.
What do you think? What do you think could be some of the consequences for lawmakers not being able to keep up?
I think that as a result of lawmakers not being able to keep up, that we'll see more cyber crimes and people being impacted by hackers, and because the laws aren't our lawmakers are essentially inept, and I see them being able to impact us in that way because not only can they not keep up, it doesn't even seem to be really doesn't even seem to be a priority for them.
Yeah, there's people that sit on the committee that they have admitted that they can't tell the difference between Facebook and Twitter, which is terrifying.
Oh my gosh, come on now. See, that's the problem. We have dinosaurs in office.
Yeah.
Serving for 40, 50 years. Come on.
Right. And they're not giving up those seats. They gotta be dead before they give up those seats. But yeah, any sort of legislation is going to only apply to industry anyways, because you can't control what the incel. I use that word for the sake of this conversation. The incel is doing what he's doing in his mother's basement with Stable Diffusion or with whatever LLM he's using. Is sitting locally on his computer. He's not connected to the internet. You don't have any say of what he's doing. He could be doing anything. He could be creating a new violent protein that only attacks certain ethnicities or something with the help of those bots or whatever.
Do you think most of it is coming from inside the house? Like, do you think that most of the hackers are like international? Like, I don't know why, for some reason, and this is probably my naivete, I just assume that most of the hacking is being done from like outside the country, that we're under attack. But maybe I've fallen prey to like the propaganda. But do you think that most of what's being done is being done internally, like within the country?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know that there are state-sanctioned cybercrime teams in Russia, and there's, if you search around on WhatsApp and on Telegram long enough, you'll eventually come across some kids in Nigeria doing deep fakes with NVIDIA technology, catfishing. Now, what's really clever, and here's what I will say about people, in foreign countries, developing foreign countries, where they're really on top of it because they're doing anything they can to get a buck if they're about that life.
Yeah.
So whether it be catfishing or whatever scam, there are people out there. There are teams of people out there that are dedicating hours or dedicating their entire lives for the time being on trying to come up with a new scam to roll in the dough. So I'll say that.
That's very true. But you know what? If you think about it, they're I guess they would have stronger desires. Their will to come up and be creative is going to be a lot stronger because that's going to be their way that they're eating for a lot of them. So, I get it. And, who knows if most of it is being done internally or externally. And, I don't know that it matters, but I was just curious because I don't know. I think there's a lot of propaganda, and you hear the media and they'll say, these Russian hackers, and you hear that kind of stuff. And I have kind of, Nigerian scammers, and I've fallen victim to some of those beliefs that, it's mostly being done outside of the country.
Yeah, it could be either. It could be both. But it could be. I fully suspect people from countries that have very little to no economic or employment advancement to probably be the biggest scammers, and rightfully so, because they're trying to improve their situation by any means necessary. So I get it. I don't necessarily fault them on the surface for that, but it is what it is. Okay, the is it the SAG? The SAG strike. Let me go ahead and share this screen here. We all know about the SAG strike. I think it's Screen Actors Guild. I think it's the writers are also on strike. Last week, Netflix put up a job post on an AI job. I think it's a management job. It doesn't have the name of the title here, and I forgot what it was. $900,000 job in the middle of a strike. What are your thoughts on that?
I didn't see the job post, and I can't really make out all. I mean, I see the title, of course. I have been following the strike, and I've seen a ton of information about it. I've seen some very interesting information about it. Like the primary thing that I've seen is actors and, production assistants, writers, all making content as to defend their position, because they are not receiving the empathy that I think they would like. A lot of people are like, they're rich. Like, we have our own struggles. Like, we're not invested in what they have going on, despite the fact that, they're showing their paychecks, that they're being paid 17 cents, 2 cents for, shows that are, like, I guess, replaying on some of these channels. They're talking about their likeness being able to be used in imaging, or AI being able to, reuse their likeness and things of that nature. So I've seen quite a bit of information. I've ingested quite a bit of information regarding all of it. I'm not as familiar with this job posting per se, though.
Do you think the writers and the actors going to come out of this strike, if they come out on this strike, ahead or behind?
Really and truly, those in positions of power, the big wigs, those that are making the millions and billions of dollars, they don't seem too keen on negotiating. They don't seem too gung-ho on negotiating. So I think that it will be interesting to see. Personally, I feel like instead of, them focusing on the public, I would be asking actors who are making the big bucks, producers, directors who make a lot of money, to stand with them. I don't know that they're going to come out on top. And, because we have our own struggles, that people have a difficult time putting gas in their car, and there are lay people work 2 and 3 jobs just to get by on a regular basis. So it's hard to, put their issues above our own. And you don't see actors and writers, taking up the causes that we deal with. Like, for example, the stewardesses are striking. Southwest, the stewardess are striking. You don't see the actors, taking up their cause and, standing with them. So I don't know that they'll come out on top of this thing, because from what I've seen, I haven't seen a whole lot regarding those that are in positions of power being ready and willing to negotiate and give them a whole lot more.
That's a great point. Have you seen? Do you watch Black Mirror?
No.
So, season 6 came out, I don't know, about a month or so ago. The very first episode, I think, is called "Amy is Terrible," and basically, what that episode is about is Netflix, ironically, creating AI content around someone's life. Everything from the actors, real life actors. Actually, it was they used Selma Hayek's likeness, and centered the entire show around her. I know Sister George watched it. We had this discussion about Black Mirror before. Joan is awful. Yes, thank you, Sister George. Joan is awful. So essentially, everything, the script, the environment, everything is AI generated. I think the big wigs they're going to play the waiting game, and I think they're going to go head first into investing in AI. I really do. Kind of early.
I agree.
But I mean, we can't create AI content from front to back. Not yet, but how long is that going to last? But I do think, as far as like the actors, I do think they should get royalties for their likeness, or NIL deals, their name, image, and likeness. So if you want to use their name, if you want to use their voice, if you want to use their image, I think they should be getting paid for that. How much, and how much that check is going to be, that's going to be another strike further on down the road. Who knows? But yeah, I have seen those checks, 17 cents royalty checks. Come on, like, what are we doing? I understand it's streaming, but you got to do better than that.
But what should the expectation be? And I don't know, I don't have any raw data to compare it to, because if you complete a task, like once you complete a job, I understand that, the companies that are streaming the content, they're still making, lots of money off of it. But also too, I know yesterday Danny was talking about the women in Lizzo's camp that are suing her. Like these people clearly signed contracts that likely outlined a lot of this stuff too. I don't know what the expectation should be. If you're on, let's say, a temporary assignment, and once the assignment is completed, like for example, my husband is in insurance. And he receives some residual payments after he sells a policy. And it's not a ton of money, but he receives some residual payments. And it used to be, and every couple years they change things. You used to would receive those residual payments for life. And some companies want to make it so that we're going to just pay you a lump sum up front, and we don't want to pay you residual payments. So those terms change, and he has to sign on to a company and agree to those terms before he ever sells a policy under said company.
Yeah. Yeah, when it comes to like royalties and like NIL deals and stuff like that. So let's say, and again, going back to Black Mirror, it's what's really disturbing is like most of the episodes in Black Mirror are becoming science fact and no longer science fiction.
Yep,
that's what's really terrifying.
Yes. So, the first episode of Black Mirror from this season. Concrete, I wanted to talk to y'all about this. So this kind of comes down to like consciousness, right? And it's just real quick. I'm gonna veer off for just a quick second.
No, you good. Go ahead.
So I was watching this conscious guy. I don't know if y'all have ever heard of Bobby Hemmett. Concrete, I know you have. Mix, I don't know if you've ever heard of Bobby Hemmett. No. Bobby Hemmett is the light-skinned fat dude that talks about. I'm surprised. He's in Atlanta, but anyway, he was saying that we're basically in a dream right now, and we're in a dream on a different level, but it's like somebody else is dreaming and we're dreaming and so on until you get like up the dimensions and shit. When I saw that episode of Black Mirror, MGTOW, that's what it kind of brought me back to. And like not being in a real reality, like we're not, and it's like people saying that we're not real, and this is like a simulated reality. And
holographic universe theory.
Yeah. And I was like, whoa. So when I saw, you remember at the end of that episode in Black Mirror when she smashed the machine and then she kind of jumped back into herself, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I just thought that was real interesting. And then last I don't know if it was last season, but you remember when they had like the social scores where people could rate you like right then and there per interaction with a person.
You know, that's
So
actually a thing in China.
yeah, that's what I heard.
Yep. It's an
Mm.
actual thing in China.
That's
social scores.
interesting.
Yeah, I
Wow.
think you would like Black Mirror Concrete. You should check it out.
It sounds kind of interesting. I'm gonna ask
It
my daughter
is,
about it. She's a
girl.
movie buff. I bet you she's heard about it.
This is a TV show and they don't do like episodes with the same characters, but
Okay.
it's like simulate, like they'll have different episodes, but they'll be simulated.
Okay.
Like it's very futuristic, but it looks normal. Like you know how we have our houses, our cars, and stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
But it'll be like somebody with a computer chip in their brain. Girl, there was this episode with this mom and daughter, and the mom put a chip in her daughter's brain and blocked out everything bad so her daughter wouldn't see it.
Ooh.
That's my favorite episode.
That actually sounds kind of interesting. I'm into that type of stuff.
Girl,
Like, I used to
it is
love. I don't know if you've heard of
so-
Westworld.
I've
Like-
heard of it. I never watched that.
It's good too. But
Another great show.
Okay, I might check into it.
Girl, you're
Yeah.
gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, if you're into Westworld, you'll love Black Mirror.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
Oh, you remember at the end of Black Mirror, like Joan is awful. It started because like the whole thing started when she went viral. So she went viral. That
Mhm.
like Black Mirror is it's freaky. It's just I don't know. It's freaky and creepy.
I'm gonna watch it
But-
tonight with my husband. Something new for us to check out.
Girl, y'all are
Season
gonna
one-
enjoy it.
Season 1, there was those violent attack dogs. The little machine. They supposed to simulate attack dogs, but they were like little robots. That's not science fiction anymore. I think it's Boston.
You know, in New York City, they
Mhm.
have robotic police
I've heard
dogs
that.
now.
I've heard that.
Yep.
I've heard that.
That is so freaky. And I think is it like San Francisco? It's somewhere in California where they have like Uber Eats, they send out your food in a robot. Like the food is delivered to you by way of robot. And I'm like, what? Like this is all too much too soon. Like, can we slow down?
Have y'all
Did
seen
y'all
Cloning Tyrone?
I did.
I saw the beginning of it. I started
It was
doing
whack.
tasks. I couldn't. I didn't get all
I
into
couldn't
it.
get into. I got into it, but hell, me and Curlin both fell asleep on it. Yeah, nah, it wasn't. It
was
wasn't.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know.
I didn't know
Um,
what I was expecting either. I just went into it like, all right, whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
it was interesting. Some of the messaging was really interesting, especially about what they were doing to the food. And so at my office, a lady came in and she was thin, and they were talking about diet and exercise and shit. And this is a white lady, and she looks great though. She's in her 50s, but she didn't look 50, and she didn't look like she had surgery. And so I was like, like, what's your regimen? And she was like, she does not eat chicken, and she said chicken is so bad for you. And I was like, chicken? And she was like, girl, do not eat chicken. Chicken is like the worst thing on earth, like one of the worst things you can eat right now. And knowing that they're cloning the meat, they don't have to tell you that it's cloned.
Mhm.
And they're able to put it in, if it's a fast food restaurant, it's over.
Yep.
But the fact that they
The
can put
thought
it in the
alone.
grocery store and not say anything is
We need to be growing our own food. We need to be doing more farming. Like people need to do more homesteading because it's
Yup.
getting crazy out here, and it's only going to get crazier.
Yep.
So back to the holograph universe theory,
Mhm.
because I've ever since the Matrix Reloaded, it's kind of had my mind in the whirlwind for the almost 20 years. Because one of the things I've always asked, like, what if at the end of Matrix Revolutions, and I don't know if y'all saw that one, but in other words, the humans are free from the machines. They have an agreement. The war between the humans and the machines. We're for the time being, we're at peace. What if Zion, the machine city, is like another layer of the artificial world, right? It's kind of like the machines playing a deeper game. So it's kind of like y'all seen the first Matrix, right?
Yes, I've only seen the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. So just for context,
Mhm.
machines using humans as batteries to power the machines, and machines do whatever. What if, and Agent Smith said this in the first Matrix, that they tried, the very first thing they tried was to create a world of no war, no conflict, no nothing, and it failed because apparently we as humans, we need conflict to be able to
Mm.
cope.
Actually, it's so funny that you said this. So I was watching something before you went live, and this is supposed to be in the real world though. So it was this lady, and they were talking about she was a medium, and they were like certain things were supposed to be like, so she was, the man was asking her about heaven and hell. And no, I'm getting that confused because I watched like a few things like before you went live. But they're supposed to be like when heaven, like heaven basically stopped because they said that humans needed conflict in order to really appreciate the good aspect of.
Mm-hmm.
And so they said that people left because they needed more. It needed to, like, people didn't enjoy just being happy all the time, which I thought was interesting too. But never mind, because I watched like a whole bunch of stuff, and now that's just starting to kind of warp together. And
Yeah, you can only enjoy peace once you've been through war.
Oh yeah, that kind of makes sense though. Like, I understand that concept. You know, like I truly do. Like, you know, okay, think about it like this. You know, even if you think about how immigrants or like people who are seeking asylum, like people who come from, you know, developing countries, they'll come here and thrive because literally the circumstances they've come from are so bad that, you know, like literally they've seen some of the worst and they're just far more appreciative of what they have and what they have access to. And it is completely different than people who you know, we take it for granted because we've always had access to, you know, public education, you know, free education, like we've always had the access. So I kind of understand that. Like you kind of like you have a deeper appreciation for something when you've gone through, you know, something bad.
So Agent Smith was right, and I agree with him. I mean, none of us was born during wartime, so we didn't have to really. We don't have to worry about going to war like World War II or anything like that. Vietnam War. All right, well, y'all probably weren't born yet. I don't know my history well enough. Were y'all before or after
Before
Vietnam
after?
War? Vietnam.
Oh, after.
I don't know. I'm not trying to.
Straight to hell.
I'm not. I'm
I
not
mean,
trying
like,
to. I'm not. I'm really. I'm not. It's not. I'm not trolling. I'm not trolling.
Like, come
Seriously, I don't know.
Go straight to hell.
No. I thought Vietnam was
like baby boomers, like he said.
No, was like late 60s, right?
Late
Sir,
60s.
Like, yeah,
Late 60s,
exactly.
Sir.
Like, that was
I'm
one of
sorry.
the
I'm
80s.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about my mother's age. She's 55. I'm sorry.
Oh wow.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
My bad.
I see what you're doing,
No, my bad.
Miguel,
No.
and I
No,
got you.
Y'all only 4 years.
I got you, friend.
Yeah, that was for the
Wow.
I never had
Wait,
sex
we
with
only
the
4
condom.
years what?
Y'all only 4 years older than me.
Oh, I thought you was gonna be like, we only 4 years younger than your mom, and I was about to get up off the screen like, nah,
I'm not gonna do that. Even
you're
though
not gonna do me
Thomas-
mixed.
Ooh, he
I ain't never had
tried it.
sex. I ain't never had sex with a condom on. But y'all wild. Anyway,
He bringing up old stuff.
For facts.
Mhm.
Still ain't answered the question though.
Of course I have.
Oh my God.
But
Good night.
child support.
Sure, MGTOW.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay. But again, the holographic universe theory, I do find it kind of unnerving that kind of like when a star dies, it looks almost identical to like the iris of your eye. Almost identical.
Stars
Oh.
die?
Yeah.
This is new to me.
Y'all didn't know stars die?
No clue.
Man, it's
And nor
good to
did I know
have-
what it looked like.
Listen,
you-
it is so
When did
neat
that?
to have like nerd friends.
Are you
Mhm.
I
serious?
love this. No, I didn't know that stars actually die.
Stars are born and they die.
Baby, listen, I ain't seen a star since I went to the planetarium in 5th grade. Like, what
I haven't seen a shooting star
Ooh.
in.
Lord
I
have
think the
mercy.
last time I seen a shooting star was about 7 years ago.
Mm.
And the thing, so what I used to love about Mississippi, being in the deep country, you can see the stars and everything like hella clear. And I would see shooting stars all the time back then, but I forgot where I was. It was about 7 years ago. It was like the last time I saw a shooting star. I don't think I ever see one again at this point.
You know those aren't really stars though, right?
What are they?
They're like
A comment?
little pieces of like asteroids going across the sky.
Mhm.
Oh,
If a star got that close to us and you could see it, we would just instantly fry.
Mm.
Because there are some stars, like our near stars, some of them are hotter than the sun.
really?
So imagine a star as hard as the sun, but smaller, you know, seeing it run across the sky where you can make a wish. No, you wouldn't make it. Anyways. Yeah. Back to the AI. Sister George, you brought up some points about you being fearful for your kids and
Yeah.
their future when it comes to AI. What are some of those concerns?
Well, I saw a clip on Instagram to where somebody, you know how are you on Snapchat, MGTOW?
No.
Okay. So if you go to any of these sites that you're able to filter your face to take photos or videos, they'll have like age progression ones to where to show you or what you're supposedly what you're supposed to look like as a little girl, what you're supposed to look like as an adult, all the way up to an old person.
Mhm.
And they took the video, they had a picture of a little girl, they aged her, created an ID, turned it into a video, and had her voice.
TikTok
It
has
is-
the age filter as well. I know. Yeah.
Yep. But it was so in the video, they was like they could take the video, put your kids in all types of compromising situations. And I mean like the shit that's like the bad shit.
Yeah.
And basically ruin your child's life before your child can even graduate high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
With a picture.
So
That's concerning.
that like I'm thinking about younger version of me. Like I'm glad I didn't have Snapchat and TikTok, because what I would have done, I would have just used that like the age filter, and TikTok's old age filter is actually pretty accurate.
Mhm.
There's a content creator that only
Accurate
does
for who?
so
For the whites.
he has
Which did make us look too old.
he has a channel where he dedicates for like celebrities. He like show like a video clip of a celebrity when they was younger, and then he puts the age filter on there and he compares it to what they look like today, and it's
Mhm.
pretty accurate. Now, of course, I
Wow.
mean it's not accurate for everyone. You know, I've seen some complete misses with some people when they've used it. But
how
know-
long is it going to take for them to get it right? And this is like the first year, and look how they're nailing it. Or the first couple of years, and look how they're nailing it.
It'll just get better. Like every day,
Ooh, yeah.
this will be the worst technology. It'll this will be the worst it'll be.
Yep.
Every day it'll
So
improve.
what about the notion, like people who say, oh, for those who are feeding their face into these systems, that, you're permitting them to do anything, you're giving them license to do anything with it. Also, you're basically giving the FBI your image and all. Like, what about um, all of these beliefs surrounding people who utilize the systems for, like, these age filters, age progression? They'll have AI. There are AI apps that you can use to get, like, your resume pictures and headshots, things of that nature. Is there any truth to that? Because it doesn't seem like it would be much different than allowing access to things in your phone to TikTok or Facebook.
So the most valuable commodity in the tech world is data. So if you're using an app, let's say if you give, I don't know, there's plenty of AI web apps now where you can give it 20 images or what they call like the pictures, like for actors. There's a name for it. Essentially, you give it like 20 images of like your face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Like they had like, what's it called? Mensa or something like that.
Mensa, that's for like the really smart people, right?
No, there was an
It's
app.
an
It
app.
was Menza. And
Okay.
Mensa is. I was a member of Mensa, but don't
there's
ask me no questions about it. Okay.
there's many apps. But no, you're giving, you're giving these images to the apps, and then their LLM, large language model, is using your images to train its model. And so in turn, when you sign up, you sign away your rights to be able to get those images deleted, whatever. So yeah, they'll give you images of you in professional settings or any sort of setting that you want. You can use that for LinkedIn, and I know a lot of people that are doing that now. They'll
Oh,
just
I
give
found
this
the
image.
video too. I'm sorry. I'm gonna send
Go
it to
ahead.
you so you can play it. So you can
How
see what I'm talking about.
I want to let me see. Can you share?
Actually, I can. It says
Go ahead.
present. Okay, let me pull it up.
But yeah, you could train these models. And I know a lot of people that are using like their AI generated models for like LinkedIn and stuff like that. But yeah, once your image is out there, it is fair game. You
Mm-hmm.
may end up in some sort of Rule 54 pornography on Pornhub or whatever.
And that's the scary thing. I've seen women on TikTok that have seen their likeness on SEX ads. Like, people have taken their pictures, their faces, and photoshopped them on other people's bodies to sell lingerie on porn sites. Like, like
Smart.
taking their likeness.
Smart.
That's crazy.
Do you own your likeness? I think that's the bigger question.
Nope.
Oh, I guess not if you put it out there.
No, but we haven't copywritten ourselves and trademarked ourselves. So basically, because we haven't, you don't own your likeness, and people can pretty much do what they want with it.
And you're permitting it. You're signing a contract. You're agreeing to a contract when you get on a lot of these apps that gives them permission to do whatever with your likeness. So not only that, but you're actually permitting apps and companies to use your likeness to their liking.
Go ahead,
Okay.
Sister George.
Here you go.
Because the NIL conversation is I think that's going to be like the number one topic in like the near future for like people. And but go ahead, we'll get back to that.
Okay, it's a 2-minute 49-second video.
Yeah, that's cool. I swear to Zeus, if you don't get an ad blocker.
No, I'm on the breakdown, Sister George.
Yep.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. It's me, Ella. Well, a digital version of me. Just a bit older. Amazing what technology can do these days, isn't it? All you need are a couple of pictures, like the ones you share on social media, where they can be taken and used by everybody. I know for you these pictures are just memories, but for others, they are data. And for me, maybe the beginning of a horrible future. A future where my identity can be stolen just like that. Where I can go to prison for things that I would never do. Imagine my credit score being destroyed, Dad. Or my voice copied to scam you, Mom. Mom, I'm in trouble. I need you to send me money, please. I don't want to become a meme, humiliated by everyone at school.
Kill yourself, you fucking loser.
And I certainly don't want this. What you share online is like a digital footprint that will follow me around for the rest of my life. I'm telling you this because I know you love me and would never do anything to harm me. So please, Mom, please, Dad, protect my virtual privacy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
That's
super
crazy.
eye-opening for me, especially since I have minor children.
Yeah. You know what the crazy thing is, though? There are so many parents that willingly exploit their children online, like that willingly exploit their children, and they may not do it to be harmful, but their children have become a paycheck. And I've seen so many people
Yep.
on TikTok that are advocating for children and that don't feel children should be, daily content. And some of the children, like, they highlight, like, the kids will get frustrated and don't want to continue doing these takes and don't want to continue doing these hauls because she's 4 or she's 5 and she just wants to play and enjoy her life. But people are willingly exploiting their children. And I'll see women who, like, there's this woman, she is called like Milk Tits or something like that, and she literally uses her baby and breastfeeds him on her page to get views. And then there is the new trend on TikTok where everybody's pretending to be an AI robot, and they got
That's
it from
weird.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
yes, and they got it from the one Canadian girl who was originally lying, saying she was 15, and then she changed her 19, and then she changed her age to 21, but she's really like 27 or something like that. But they don't know that that is a kink and a fetish, and everybody, black men, black women, like everybody, you got triplets doing it. Everybody has tuned into it, and it's really a kink.
So, since we didn't come up in this world that we're living in now, how do we prepare? How do those that have kids prepare for a world that parents that, this is essentially new territory for them? How do you prepare your kids?
This is the thing. So honestly, it's almost like being set up before the setup. When So if you notice or if you've heard of certain people not allowing their children on the internet or limiting their kids' use to social media and shit like that, I think they said Bill Gates doesn't allow his kids on it. I've heard things like that
Right. The owner of TikTok doesn't allow his kids to get on TikTok.
Are you serious? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
he said it at the congressional hearing.
Wow. When you have those type of people who have created these products and wouldn't even allow their own children onto these products, I think one of the things is trying to prevent that aspect of or restricting that aspect of social media. With our kids, I have a soon to be teenage boy, and I'm having to constantly talk about what he doesn't post anything, thank God. But at one point he was trying to post stuff, and then we have to have like we talk. Look, if somebody sends you something and you keep it, that would be considered. If they send you something dirty and you keep it, you could possibly get in trouble for that, even though you didn't do anything. Even if you didn't ask for it, you can be in trouble for that.
Yeah, that's a
And
felony.
things that you send out, because they're in such a they're in the generation that they're in. I think they're gonna be an asexual generation, to be honest with you. They're I'm not gonna say that their hormones aren't raging and shit like that, but I just think that they're gonna be different in a certain aspect. I really think they're gonna be an asexual generation, and we'll see. But it's just really kind of staying on them about what they can post, what they receive, then not even being in conflict online, because you can get in conflict online now and people are having your house swatted.
Ooh, good point.
It's a lot. CPS called. People will look at the design within your house, be able to pinpoint where you live, stalk you, harass you. If you react to whatever, they're filming you reacting to whatever. It's sick. It's really sick. You really think
That's
about
a
it,
good
it's sick.
point. You know what? And I that is so scary to me too. I see them doing that on TikTok. They'll someone will show something in a picture, and I've seen a guy who literally from a crack in a driveway could tell you where you live. Like that's how good he is. It is scary. They do these things where girls are taking pictures of themselves and they're trying to show young girls that a person could find you if they really wanted to. And it'll be like they'll have like just a few identifying things, and it may be a brick wall in the background, and they're able to find where they are. It is so scary. But the things that I would do is I policed my children. Like when my children were growing up, we had Verizon Wireless until they were 15 years old. And then we switched to another plan. But Verizon had what was called a family plan where I could see everything they were doing. Not only that, like I was able to also cut off their ability to go on social media during school hours. They could only contact me and dad, and other people for certain emergency contacts. We're now in this age of gentle parenting, and I think that with that, people want to give their kids all the freedom in the world, but I think that could be very detrimental. And it's not that, you might trust your child, but predators are very savvy, and your child may think that they're communicating with another 11-year-old or another person within their same age range. And there's key things that you might pick up on that your kid might not pick up on. So I believe in monitoring what your child is doing at all time, knowing where your child is at all time. Like, you have to parent. And that's the problem nowadays. A lot of people don't want to parent. They want to parent the laziest way as possible. Sit them in front of their phone and leave me be. You know what I mean? And that's not my style of parenting. So I would continue the same things I did with my children when they were younger.
That's a good point.
The idea that a predator could use like a filter that makes them a lot younger, and then they start because I'm just trying to figure out like how it could be done, and it's not hard. It's actually sad that it's easier to scam people than it was 20 years ago. It's supposed to be more difficult and it's a lot easier. And then, that guy or girl is reaching out to kids and having conversations. That is terrifying. I don't know if there's a solution unless you're going to be a helicopter parent. And does that work?
Yeah, I was thinking about that too because, like I said, the technology is faster than what we've been able to think of and dream of. And then you can prevent one thing on one end, and there's some shit that come out with on the next end. Then it kind of comes down to how sociable do you want your kids, because your kids will still end up coming into contact with shit that you don't want them to, um by having friends.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Good point. Do you believe in, because I see a lot of parents that are like, my kids can't do sleepovers. I don't believe in, my kids staying out and stuff like that. And for me, my kids didn't do my kids did sleepovers, but it was with cousins. Like, I have a humongous family. So literally they were permitted to do sleepovers, but they had so many cousins in the same, well, actually, no, not just I have a couple friends that have kids the same age, but they're friends that I grew up with. So I trusted them, and they had little girls too. So, they stayed the night over family's house, but they didn't stay the night outside of family. But are you okay with your children, like, staying out at friends and hanging out with friends? Like, I know I'm a helicopter parent, and that's not necessarily the best approach, but I don't know any other way to be.
It really depends because, now I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't when he was a baby, like when he was young and not able to communicate. Now I talk to him openly. Look, nobody is supposed to mess with you in ways that you don't want, and you need to be vocal if somebody is, because he's he's up there now, and we talk. I've had to send him to his dad, and this is the crazy part. You could prevent shit at your house, then he'll go to his father's house, and it'll be something child.
Do whatever.
Co-parenting.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Co-parenting is some shit. And so just really having open and honest discussions about things that you want to happen to you, things that you don't enjoy, and when to tell somebody, and the consequences of. Solomon's pretty ruthless in the sense that if he don't like something, he don't have no problem with telling you, but ruthless in the sense that and this is so funny because I'll have these conversations with him, and you call me crazy if y'all want to, because it is. But I was like, if somebody did something to you, would you want me to kill them? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, cool.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
But
so funny.
It was like, we talk about, like, he can be kind of vengeful. He can be a little vengeful. He's vindictive as fuck, and just certain aspects of his personality that I'll pick up on, and so I'll give him like certain scenarios. So I'll be like, so let's say somebody came and did something to me. Would you do something to their mother? And he's like, no, I would do something to them. I was like, okay. What if you couldn't get to them and you can get to their mother? He was like, no, I wouldn't do nothing to their mother because I would have to get them. And I was like, so what about an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth? He was like, nah,
wow.
Just if they did something to harm my family, I'm gonna make sure I get them. And I was like,
oh my gosh, he's wild.
Talk about stuff like that. I look at it, certain aspects of life I'll introduce my kids to. With him, manipulation aspects of life, even with my daughter, because I teach my kids how to get their way, and how to negotiate, how to read people.
Negotiation is an important tool.
Yeah, how to read people, how how to get in it. I teach them these types of things now. It's crazy because we can sit there and go through techniques in Robert Greene's books, some Robert Greene books and shit.
Oh Lord.
What?
sit
What's
there-
wrong with Robert Greene? I don't know who he is.
The nigga Bible, the
Yes.
48 laws of
Oh.
power.
Yeah.
48 laws of
Oh,
power.
40 laws of power.
The crazy thing is he gets it. If I sit there and I break it down and I explain it to him, he's really into that kind of stuff. And like I sent him a text. I said, remind me to tell you about long game down the line. He called me by like 5 minutes. What's long game? Tell me. And we talked about having a long game, and he grasped onto concepts like that very easily, and he likes it. So, that's shit.
Yeah.
It's not a need for concern, is there?
I probably would be more concerned about somebody else's kids. Because I want my kids to be well prepared. I want them to I just want them to be well prepared. Life is going to be interesting, and I don't know where the world is going to take them. And so if I can prepare them in ways that you get told to do shit when with my grandmother and mom, they told you to do something, you had to do it, you really couldn't question it. My mom was a little bit better than my grandmother, but in how I try to raise them is like the shit that I'll explain shit to my kids versus just like, just do this or don't do that, and certain aspects of shit I'm gonna explain to them. Now, if I tell them to go wash dishes, clean up their room, shit like that, I ain't explaining that kind of shit. But if I tell you to, when you walk into a room and you come into direct contact with a man, look a man straight in the eye as a boy, a firm handshake, don't be silly, having some bearings and shit. Being able to tell when people are happy, mad, sad, frustrated, angry, being able to actually go around and look around the room and then quizzing them on what they see, shit like that, like trying to make them more street savvy, if that makes sense.
It does. Okay, back to NIL. When the day comes, when inevitably comes, where legislation is passed, where I don't know, it'd probably be something to the tune of you can't use anyone's name, image, or likeness without there being an agreement in place, or something like that. What do you do when there's another person in another country that looks exactly like you? Or even in the same country, what do you do? Because somebody out there looks exactly like Beyonce. There are people that make careers out of that. What happens then?
I think like if like your doppelganger or someone that is like actually like a Beyonce imitator. Which one are you referring to?
I guess either or, because you can't tell people how to dress up.
Yeah, I think that like. First of all, people are always going to look for loopholes. So even when that happens, I think that if people will take the risk if they feel they look like Beyonce or look close enough that they can get away with it, that people will take the risk associated with it. People will always look for the loophole. Like that is the one thing about it. Like one thing is for certain, two things for sure. Folks gonna find that loophole. And so I really think like we can create laws. I think that for every law we create, someone's going to find a way around it. And we know that because that's as old a tale as time,
But then wouldn't that just make the law meaningless? If let's say if,
no, you know why? It's not going to make it meaningless. Most people are sheep. So the majority of people are going to fall in line just because there's a law, just because the powers that be said so. But those who buck the system are going to find a way around it. That's what they do. Most people will fall in line. Most people will blindly fall in line. They don't have to see the law for themselves. Just hearing that there's a law out there that says you can't use XYZ, they'll hear it secondhand, won't even go look it up, and they're going to fall in line.
I know that Samuel L. Jackson has already gone public and says that, you know, no one will be able to use his name, image, and likeness once he's out of here. And I'm just thinking, like, okay, but you know, this is Disney we're talking about. They'll use your NIL and then they'll pay whatever fines it is. But
Yeah,
you know, they're gonna use him till the end of time. I know James Earl Jones has already signed his over to Disney. So
Really?
yeah. So Disney will never have to find another
Lion
voice
King.
for Vader.
Oh.
They never have to ever. And that also kills some jobs, you know, like some would-be voice actors that could probably come close or even do it better than the original. Those jobs are gone now
that's
because
a
they'll
good point.
just use his voice.
Yeah, that's a good point. And they have automated ways of, you know, using his voice for future future movies and stuff. That's a good point.
Yeah. Ice Cube has said the same thing. He's not down with it, but again, you know, we're talking about large companies, they'll pay whatever fines. We see energy companies do it all the time. We see data leaks, they pay whatever fines it is. I don't know. I don't think, and this is where I actually root for. I'll stand on it. I'll actually root for the end of capitalism because
What?
AI
Aren't
is
you
going
a
to
conservative?
expose. I am, but
I thought so.
you can't have if you're talking about 300 million jobs being automated. And I really wish BGS was here because I know this is right up his alley. You don't want another French Revolution on your hands. So what are you going to do with those people? If you're not going to do UBI, what are you going to do?
What the hell is UBI?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
For context, UBI stands for Universal Basic Income. It's essentially
Okay.
a welfare.
Like communism?
I don't know enough about socioeconomics to say yeah or nay.
Okay.
So I guess some
Hmm.
people say like $800 a month. Some say $1,200 for UBI. So whatever social system that falls under.
So you think that would be the end of an elite system?
I think when you have automation run amok, which again, Meta has made sure that it has, because open source, all these open source models, not all of them, but most of them, the best open source models are based off of the one that Meta leaked. So
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, how can you replace those jobs if you're not going to automate them? If they could be automated.
And like, if that happens, when that happens, like, I don't know what it would solve, but you better believe that there's going to be a revolution. To be completely honest, I'm surprised there hasn't been one. Like, I don't know what folks are waiting for.
People are slow.
I don't know what people are waiting for.
People
Scared.
are slow. No, it hasn't hit them yet. It hasn't hit them yet. It'll maybe.
But the thing is, I think we don't have like the situation, the pickings, like we don't have a right set of circumstances like we did during the panty. Like, I think that, you know, I do think that there's some fear. Some people are like, I need my $10 an hour job. I can't have my image on, you know, like there is some fear holding people back. But I think that under the right circumstances, like, the pressure is getting worse. Like, it's undeniable. Like, people literally, what is going on? People, you can't buy food. I mean, look at the wealth gap, how much it's extending. Like, look at the policies that are being passed. Look at like how they're screwing us with these damn, you know, tax laws. Like, it is absolutely insane. When will we say enough is enough?
Cynical One says, I thought you were right wing adjacent. I am, but I mean, you can't deny the impact of automation. That that can't be ignored. I don't know. I mean, 300 million, 500 million, who knows? Um, I mean, if I was running a business, I would try to find a way to automate everything.
Did you sign up for Facebook's version of Twitter? I forgot what it was called.
Threads?
I know.
Yeah,
Facebook.
that's it.
Yeah, day one.
Oh, IG. Yeah.
Day
You
one.
signed up for
forget
Threads
that
too,
Facebook.
Concrete?
No, I forget that Facebook and Instagram is one. I'm like, Facebook's version. I thought that was Instagram's version. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't used it. It's been a minute. But nothing special.
I don't be
Really?
on none of these news. Bigo and all this new. I'll be like, huh? Like what? What's the other one that they came up with? The black site that was supposed to be Spill. That was supposed to be like the black Twitter, but it's not really black Twitter.
Spill.
I never even
Yeah.
heard of that.
Y'all don't know about Spill? You know, Black
No.
Twitter left once Elon Musk decreased everybody's the number of times people can post on there a day, or how many posts they'll see a day. So they went over to Spill. Like all of Black Twitter went over to Spill, and like it's invite only. So I haven't been able to get an invite, baby. But yeah, and they said it was like
Kinda
black
like-
owned, but
Would it kind of be like how Clubhouse was when they first had its You remember when you had to have an invite to be
Yeah.
yeah, it is
you got
similar to
Clubhouse?
that. And the waiting list is crazy long, but I think it's actually like co-owned by somebody that's not black. So people were like, don't rush to go in there because it's not truly black owned. But I've heard that it's popping. I've heard good things. Like I know a few people that's on it, but they don't have any more invites.
Oh, is that I think I heard about it on TikTok where they initially advertised it to be like a black social
Yep.
media to Yep.
Mhm.
And then later on they kind of changed their tune. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're accepting everybody. This is a place for that. Mm-hmm.
Don't it always be like that?
I need somebody to send me one too.
What questions do y'all have? Because I want to answer y'all questions. Whatever questions y'all have about
I
AI.
had something. Let me see. Okay, I lost my notes. Hold on one second.
There's some kind
Go ahead, Danny, if you have something.
Well, I was gonna ask, how do you think it's gonna impact? What do you think the impact on America is gonna be when automation is fully automating?
I don't know.
Are you scared?
Scared? No, because I'm gonna get mine one way or the other.
Oh,
Are you worried
okay.
about black women?
Am I what? Say that again?
Are you gonna be worried about black women?
No.
oh
That ship is sailed.
my gosh. Well, for those that are concerned, because I think the biggest concern is, like I said, job security. But for those that are concerned, what are the best fields do you think for people to enter into? Like for new people,
that's a
young
great
adults
question.
going into college. Like I know that's the question that I've seen a lot of people ask, and I know that the trades are still pretty much going to be good opportunities. But what fields do you think that would be good fields for people to go into where they would likely have job security?
I'm gonna say the same thing I've been saying since I was like 10 years old. Get into tech, but I'll expand and say like STEM now. So here's where I'm at. Got a bachelor's in computer science. Going to get a master's in data science. Actually, I'm not, because I'm going to get a master's in computer science, which would make the master's in data science redundant. If you're not going for tech, nursing, and I do consider nursing part of STEM, even though it's not. Nursing, you can't really go wrong with nursing. That's kind of like my last straw is nursing. So software engineer 1, cybersecurity 2, cloud engineer 3, network engineer 4, and then nursing. When all else fails, if all those other 4 careers are automated somehow, some way, I could fall back on nursing. Because regulation will protect nursing. But go ahead.
That's true. Well, what about? I mean, I know you gave, those are great answers. Thank you for that. But real quick, like my other question is, what about certs in some of those fields? Because I know that that could be a shorter, option for a lot of people instead of spending, $80,000 on school. Would certs get people get people's foot in the door if they went that way instead, that route?
You can, but you're gonna have to network your ass off, and then your network, your LinkedIn, your resume, and then your GitHub is gonna all have to be on point. My recommendation is to go to Western Governors University so we can get both a degree and their certifications. So there was this guy, Chris Jr. 404 on TikTok. He has this video that went viral, and now WGU this month, matter of fact, has had its largest enrollments in cybersecurity ever. So with cybersecurity program, which by the way is $3,700 total.
Wow.
You can finish it in 6 months. You get 15 certifications. It's either 12 or 15. One of those numbers.
Wow.
Wow.
So for $3,700, if you really buckle down, and what I mean by buckle down is 10 to 15 hours a day.
10 to 15 hours a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're a young adult, yeah, I guess.
You could tell he a bachelor child. I can't even believe he said that shit out of his mouth.
If you're 19, 20, what field to enter into. Like, no person with kids and a family can do it. But if you're a young person that's, just looking into what field to break into, and maybe you live at home with your parents, it's something you might be at. Like, I remember I've always done the Winterim, which essentially was like a 7-day class that I had to take. Like during the winter break, and it would be like a cram session, and that's what this sounds like.
Yeah, well, you don't have to cram. No, okay. It's go at your own pace. It's graded off of competency. So, you pay
self-study.
Self-study. And I'm used to doing that from my high school program. After I dropped out, I was ready to go get my
dropped
GED.
out of what?
High school.
Hold up, child. Y'all taking me too damn fast today.
Okay. I'll
Why did you drop out? You had somebody pregnant. You had to go get a job.
I'm about to go.
No. Okay. So when I went to high school, I didn't enjoy it. I didn't have the attention span for it. And senior year, everybody else was a senior but me, right? So I dropped out. Like, I don't enjoy it. I don't want to do it. At that time, I was still under the impression that a high school diploma actually held some weight. So went to Daytona State. Back then it was called Daytona Beach Community College to get my GED. And then the counselor was telling me, well, we have a high school program here where you can, it's the same requirements as regular high school, but it's go at your own pace, but you have to buy your own books. So I made up 3.5 years of credits in 6 months. Again, my regimen, and yes, it is a very atypical. It's 12 to 15 hours a day, at least. You put that much time in, you could do anything in 6 months. But on average at WGU, it is 2 years, 2 or 3 years. So let's say 37. Let's round that up to $4,000. So $4,000 every 6 months times 2, that's 8 times 3, that's $24,000. Average cost of a bachelor's degree right now is $50,000. So you're still talking about half price, going at your own pace.
Yeah.
So, and then on top of that, if you're going for something like cybersecurity, you still have your 12 to 15 certifications. No, you won't get 6 figures coming out the door, but you'll have a high 5.
Wow.
Okay.
So that's with cybersecurity, and cybersecurity, they say all the time, there's an extreme shortage. And the great thing about cybersecurity is that it can't be outsourced because of regulations. Yeah, especially like government jobs. Government jobs, you got to be from this country anyways. So yeah, Cybersecurity is actually looking a lot better than software development, software engineering, because it's just more security around it and can't be outsourced. So that is a possible route for anyone that wants to get into tech, and they're willing to put in the work to make six figures in 2.5 to 5 years with experience. That is
Okay.
doable.
Wow.
I do have one more question for you.
Absolutely.
What do you think about the company towns? The notion of company towns, like tech companies creating company towns. What are your thoughts about that?
Company towns.
Like Silicon Valley?
Like basically where
Like a mining town, right?
But yeah, they create they essentially, the tech company purchases towns where they purchase all the hospitals, the school, the grocery stores. They own it. They own the entire town, and it's for people who work. It's similar to like a Silicon Valley, but it's for people who work for their company. And so you would be able to rent a home there. It's a little community. It's not a town, but a community for people who live in, or for people who work for the tech companies.
What was that show called? I seen something to where it was where the women, it was a technocrat. Damn, and it's a Handmaid's Tale. Have y'all seen that?
No.
Oh no, but I heard of it. Well, I heard of it, but Elon Musk is is in the process of creating one, and so they're saying other tech companies might also follow suit.
Yeah. So this is not like a tech. This is a tech company that basically took over. It came in like a one world government, right? And so with the women that weren't married, basically had to go and have babies for random people if they were still able to have babies. If they weren't able to have babies, then they would go work at like these camps and shit. If a woman had a husband, then she was like kind of okay. Like they would allow her to have a little bit more freedom. But when they came in, like when the technocrats took over, they came into like everybody's jobs and fired all the women.
Yeah.
And yeah, that shit was crazy. Like, yeah. Handmaid's Tale was, if it wasn't so slow, it would have been good. But you ever watch something and somebody's staring at each other for too long and not like enough fucking dialogue? They did a lot of that.
Yeah,
shit.
I never did. I think my daughter watched it, but she literally is a movie and TV buff. But I worked for a company that offered that. They actually had brand new condos in Perimeter, brand new. Like you would be the first to like live in them, rent them, all the things. There was a Starbucks in the building, a Chick-fil-A in the building, a Metro rail system right outside the building, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. But what are your thoughts on it, MGTOW?
I've never heard. Well, outside of mining towns, I've never heard that for tech.
Yeah, Elon is going to be the first to kick it off.
I mean,
it's supposed to be like a utopia of sorts with Elon.
So here's my concern. With our black asses, we know in that kind of town, we're probably going to stand out. And what's going to be the environment?
Yeah,
that would be my first concern. I don't know. I don't think he
said it's going to be like an egalitarian, like utopia, but for me, I feel like it gives the employer too much control, and that's why I would like if I want to call in just because I want an off day. I don't want you questioning me. I don't want like if you own the hospitals, if I go to the hospital. In addition, you control like the rates of everything in the town. And what if I quit? What if I get fired? Am I getting evicted? Do I have to move? Like it's just too much. And I've worked at places. I've worked at jobs where they paid for part of my schooling, and there was a contractual obligation as a result. So I had to stay employed for X amount of time or pay like a hefty amount if I left the company. So I don't like all that personally.
Yep. I knew someone who was doing that. She was working at a hospital. And the hospital is willing to sponsor her for her Epic certification, which I think is like something's dumb, like $27,000. But it pays. But she had to stay there for 5 years, and she wasn't willing to do it. She just didn't like the environment. But that Epic certification, once you have that, your ticket, you can write your own ticket. I don't know. I really don't want my boss to be in charge of where I live,
Right.
just out of paranoia. And again, if there's a poor environment, and if my family is in this environment, and our livelihood depends on me staying at this job, and we're in a place that is not optimal, like then what? Right now, you got to pack up and then start fresh somewhere new. That's not a good look. So I don't know.
Yeah, I just pulled up the article. Now he does say, because he moved his Tesla plant out to Texas, that he plans to charge around $800 per month, which is super cheap and it's like these modular homes they already have built. He already has the land, and that if you're fired, you have to vacate within 30 days.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah. And you know how quick he fired people for nothing, baby? Yep. No, I ain't playing with you.
You heard about that guy when that questioned him about his when he first bought Twitter. He questioned his decision about how the platform should be developed. And he got fired on the spot publicly on Twitter.
He did that to so many people. Didn't he do that to somebody? Then had to hire him back.
I don't know.
And he
isn't it called X
salary?
now?
Yes. He did that and had to double someone's salary because they had access. They knew how to operate something that no one else knew how to operate.
And as soon as he figured out that shit, he was like, "Your ass is out of here, buddy." And I'm gonna kick you off of Twitter.
Isn't it called X now?
Yeah, X now.
Is
it is.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, what I wanted to know from you, MGTOW, what do you think about the social technocrat? Because I noticed that he put like the prices on Instagram, and so you have to be. Does he own Instagram too?
I don't.
That's Zuckerberg.
Okay, so there are prices for. No, I think it's Instagram too. I think he owns Instagram.
Yeah,
because Zuckerberg owns Instagram and Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg does. That's why when you log in, you can log into both through one. Mark Zuckerberg owns both platforms.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was a limit to how many posts that you would be able to see per day on Twitter. So if you were a verified badge, I think there was like 6,000 or something like that. If you weren't unverified, then it was like 800. And I'm getting the numbers wrong, so I don't know.
600.
Okay. And then if you were a new user, then you had to pay like 300, or you could get to see 300 posts. So then when Elon Musk took over Twitter, everybody was talking about all this freedom of speech shit, and then he was kicking people off or saying whatever that he didn't like. We remember when Donald Trump got kicked off of Twitter. What do you think in regards of that? Because social media has kind of become our town square, a way we can disseminate information quick, fast, whatever. But them being able to delete you from social media, what are your thoughts on that?
So the big problem with centralized platforms is that it's run by someone else, and you have to abide by their rules. And they all, whatever idea is popular with that company, and we're in the social justice. We're still in a social justice era. I think Twitter is free speech. The problem is, 600 posts is a lot. But again, if you're someone like me, that's, if you're trolling on Twitter looking for what's new in machine learning, open source community, you can easily get to 600 posts in a couple of hours by, jumping in this thread, jumping in that thread, so on and so forth. And the reason why he did that is because of server bandwidth through Google. He didn't want to renew their contract, so that's why he put in those limitations to cut down on costs, which is dumb.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's why he did that. Which bit him in the behind, because Zuckerberg, came out with Threads, which is still nothing special, but it's still young. But the problem with centralized platforms is, you can be kicked off. So this is where, a lot of people are excited about Web 3.0. You have decentralized social media networks. There are actually a couple. I forgot. There's a few of them. Mastodon is one of them that is completely decentralized. But I just I want people to know that before, it's kind of like before 2015, and then there was after 2015. If you are not used to seeing gore on your timeline, because early 2000s with 4chan, like that was a thing. Like that came with the territory. And there was no way to filter it out. You just close your eyes and you just scroll past it. I don't want to see gore, but I do want there to be a platform outside of, breaking the law, of where there truly is freedom of speech. And then, hacktivists and programmers, they're always going to find a way, whether it's the deep or dark web, or it's Mastodon or decentralized social media networks, especially with AI. Oh man, if you can create an AI agent that can spin up an entire social media network at a moment's notice when one goes down, you are unbeatable. And because that, you don't need anyone to overlook that, decentralize all of that stuff. I think the proper term in this model, like Mastodon, will probably be peer-to-peer social media, where all your data is not sitting on one server, it's just sitting on your computer, and then you share like a folder, and then the contents of that folder is shared on the social media network. And I don't know if y'all actually did any like pirating back in the early 2000s, but like that was the popular way of downloading like movies and music. We're talking about way back in the Napster / BearShare, LimeWire days, where you would connect to someone else's computer directly and share your files.
Took it way back.
Child, you ain't heard of LimeWire in forever.
Girl,
Napster.
The way they used to corrupt computers, like, I mean,
How?
Oh yeah, we all got hacked. Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, downloaded some shit you weren't supposed to, or your IP. Since it was peer to peer, and that network connection wasn't encrypted. Yeah, people saw your IP networks or IP address, and then you had drive-by IP attacks, and one day all your files will be gone. You can't open up anything, and yeah, we all been through that. But yeah, I would love to see like a truly open and free and open speech social media platform. But the gore is going to come with the territory.
You got one. You got a free and open speech. Well, I was gonna say you have a free and open speech space where you can go and speak and post anything you want. The dark web.
Yeah, but feds are crawling on that place. I don't know.
And well, don't they have to delete it every couple of days?
The dark web.
Yeah.
Shit, who deleting it more than participating in it?
They deleted and like restarted up or something.
Yeah,
like that.
That's good. Yeah, that's good policy. You have like a site for like a week and then you delete it and you start up another one. You share that onion address amongst either Telegram or WhatsApp or whatever medium you choose. But yeah.
But some spaces are more liberal, I guess, than others.
I mean, there's a lot of learning where you really get to see who people really are when there's no filters at all, what is actually encouraged. I don't know if y'all ever played on Xbox Live. And again, I'm going way back to like the old.
I never played video games.
Of course not.
Me either.
Of course not.
Me either.
Jesus.
Why you sound like that?
Because
Not a
I don't
gamer
get to
girl.
read.
I'm not a gamer girl.
Y'all don't watch anime. Y'all don't play video games.
Mm-mm.
No.
I shop.
What did y'all do at the turn of the millennium? 'Cause
I
that
was
like
out.
the thing.
I was out talking to boys myself. What about you?
The thing is, like, I got on like MySpace and stuff like that, but like, I wasn't interested. And real talk, though, my ex, he would play for hours on end till his thumbs were sore. So I would like, he didn't like Xbox. He liked the other game, PlayStation. So I would watch him, like, he played, football, all the sports. So he would play whole seasons. And I would just be sitting there chilling, like on my phone, hanging out with him while he played. But I had no interest. Like, that's like a snooze fest.
Facts. Unless it's like the VR shit. The VR shit is pretty neat. But
So what do
even
you-
with that,
I'm glad you brought that shit up. I still get. Yeah, I know. What do you all think about? Actually, have y'all heard of Apple's Vision Pro, the $3,500 model?
No.
I have.
What is it?
It's a VR.
Their version of VR.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's Apple's. It's standalone, so that's a plus. It's an entire operating system in a headset.
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna get one?
Probably. And I don't even like Apple products, but probably.
You're an Android guy?
I am.
Let
Of
me
course.
find
Really?
Why you said that like you were surprised?
Well,
That's
you do have
like-
some people that like. It's interesting because I think like I don't know. No, some people that are really heavy into tech, and it depends. Never mind. I know people.
Women
are
love
in
that
the-
Apple shit.
I actually have an Android too. I
You got an Apple too, don't you? Exactly.
Apple came from my job. Trust me, it wasn't one that I had to have. I actually like Android products so much better. And
My husband is like that, and I'm like, I've never had anything but Apple. Like,
for real, I
and
cannot. Girl,
I just get it because that's all I've ever had. That's all I've ever known.
Girl, I cannot function with Apple. Like I be trying to do girl, like the functionality of it
Yeah,
is weird, especially if you get used to an Android and then you try to go back to Apple. When they gave me one for my job, I felt like a dinosaur trying to figure out their.
That's how I feel with my MacBook. But I mean, my iPad and my phone, I'm good.
I ain't gonna tell y'all Curlin bought me this damn MacBook and all I do is log on this bitch and get on StreamYards. I ain't gonna tell y'all that.
Listen, baby, I need to pull it out though because this computer's so slow. So
It's got like
But-
all kinds of shit on here, like
Oh, yeah.
editing tools and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Baby, I got too much.
So, it is promising. We'll see what competitors come out with between now and the holiday season.
Do you have a what's the other version of the VR shit?
No, I don't have
Oculus?
anything VR. No.
Oh, let me ask you this. Did you hear about the game to where you can kill yourself in real life?
Oh,
What?
the heck?
They have a headset that can pull the kill switch on your ass. Like if you died in a game, you died in real life.
Girl, who
Y'all ain't
came
never
up
heard
with
of
that?
that?
What
The
kind
same
of-
company. It's called Oculus, I think.
That's so dark.
That's Facebook.
Is
Wow.
that is
Facebook makes Meta makes Oculus.
it
Wow.
really is a game, and I know I've heard of it, and it's in real life because I read an article about it, so I know it's real. But
Sister George, that wouldn't even be no.
look it up.
The government, as dumb as they are, they would be like, nah, we ain't going for that.
Listen, look it up. Seriously. The hell is that? Oh God.
Another spider.
Matter of fact, answer that. How the hell did you see that spider on my wall?
How did y'all not see it when you tell?
I don't know how you did that. Baby.
Nah,
Like,
dog.
what
Ain't
size
nobody
is
see
your
it but you.
monitor? What size is your monitor?
That's funny. My second monitor is
75
actually
inches?
Nah,
no, it's
all
not
of
75. I think this is 45.
Okay, that's a
No,
big
but
monitor. That's
no, but
I
why.
I
have an
mean,
extra large monitor too,
45?
and
Child, that's huge.
mine is a widescreen.
Yeah,
yeah,
you
mine
do
too.
got a super wide monitor.
It's not for sale, but it's real. I'm calling cap. I'm sorry. What's the name of this game?
Hold on, let me game that kills you.
Apple products are engineered so everyone, including children, can use them. Pretty ingenious in terms of just it's just a
Yeah, this
popular
came
tool.
from Oculus. Boy, I knew what I was talking about. You be trying to tell me Oculus founder. So his name is Palmer Luckey, but he's the Oculus founder. I knew I wasn't tripping. Mhm.
Okay.
See,
Palmer.
What's the name of the game? Does it say?
see, y'all will wait till I find something
Oh,
that I
never
need to
mind.
click out and shit.
Never mind.
Oh, it's called. Is this thing called? Okay, let me pull it up. VR headset. The inventor of Oculus Rift said he created a VR headset that will blow people's minds literally. Palmer Luckey has built a custom VR set that claims he will kill the user in real life if they die in a video game. The device is based on the popular anime and novel series Sword Art Online. In that series, players are trapped in an immersive VR combat simulator where if they're killed in a game, they would die in the real world. For
Based off of
Lucky's
Sword Art.
version of the concept, his custom built VR set is rigged with charges that will explode if the user triggers an inappropriate game over screen, effectively destroying their brain. The inventor said while he has figured out how to make the headset kill the user, solving the perfect VR half the serving the solving the perfect VR half of the equation is still many years out. Of course, the deadly device is not available for sale. Child the elites. Mhm.
Girl, they be playing too much. Like they got too much money. Like we was talking about. I was talking to my husband, and I had seen a couple weeks ago on TikTok, and they were talking about how like we always focus on, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, but they were talking about like the real people with money would be like the founder, the person who owns BlackRock and the person who owns Vanguard, and how they're like trillionaires, but they don't want to be seen, like they stay out of the way. And like I know why, because first of all, you see what they did to BlackRock over there in Europe a couple months ago. Like literally, they tore down, busting windows, like when they were on that whole eat the rich thing, because it's absolutely insane. Like they literally just got play money because, you know what I mean? And it's literally, I hate capitalism, and to be able to see people suffer, and you can go and play in space and all, like pay for these space exploration trips and get video games that'll unalive you and all that type of foolishness. Baby, why you bored? Go feed the homeless.
Do you
Solve world
think
hunger.
do you think automation will bring about the end of capitalism at some point? And is that a good thing?
No, I think it's going to make it worse.
How so?
Because they're literally replacing humans. They're replacing their need for us is no longer. Like I think it's going to be worse. Literally, that's what's driving automation. I think that's the driving force behind it, and that's why they want it, and there's such a demand for it, like as fast and quick as possible, because they can cut their costs significantly. This is worse than when companies were leaving the U.S. and going overseas for cheap labor. Like we ain't seen nothing.
Yeah, but you can't have most people out of work. I mean, who are you going to sell your product services to?
Well, yeah. I think that companies aren't going to sacrifice for the sake of ensuring that they're employing people. I don't see it. I see them as greedy as hell. I don't see it.
I agree. Man, I don't.
What do you think, MGTOW?
Yeah.
I do think at some point we're gonna need like a soft reset because I don't know how. Again, I'm not in the social economic thing, but I don't know how much further we can go with inflation. I know they just raised the interest rates to try to settle inflation a bit, but I don't know. If most things could be automated, then what's the point? Then you're just gonna have people running a business, and everyone can't run a business because again, it's gonna come down to who you're gonna sell your products and services to.
I think they'll be able to sell their products and services, but what I worry about is the human race in itself. Because if you have people that aren't working, and let's just say you're able to keep your job and still do what you have to do, what do you think this? I kind of look at it like what's gonna end up happening.
You a
If
target.
people exactly.
French Revolution,
Mhm.
That
eating
shit
the
is
rich.
about to be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're if you're in the 1%, in that model, you might want to get out of the country.
You know what's crazy that I heard? It was like when the billionaires came to their demise on that submarine and shit. It was like so many people was like so effing what billionaires are evil. Um
Mhm.
and I know you like sometimes you don't really have a thought process on like as to what it takes to become a billionaire, but you probably had to do some
I wasn't
wild
even
shit.
surprised. I wasn't surprised by people's responses because I already know what capitalism is doing and how it's impacting people and the struggles that people have. And I am a person that's like for the people. Like I think that I wasn't surprised at all by people's responses to the billionaires, meeting their early demise. And to be completely honest, I think that the 1% is already concerned. That's why they're saying that they want these robot machines and robot dogs to protect them because they know that they will be targeted. And the interesting thing is that with the internet, like people can find out where you shop, where you vacation, where you live, where you go to the hospital. People can find out anything. So they know that they're not in the safest positions.
So, I know you said that you were for the people. Do you think that the average person, the lay person, should have like access to artificial intelligence, like
Um, I think
uncensored,
that it's
unlimited?
dangerous for AI, advanced AI, to be in the wrong hands. And I think that the average person, especially because a lot of people are in a state of desperation, will do the wrong thing with it at this time. So I think first of all, I don't like that whole playing God, building humans, and I don't like it. It's too much like playing God to me. And I'm old and I'm from the South and I don't like it. So my family comes from the South, so I just don't like it. But I don't think that the average lay person needs access to advanced AI unfettered.
Who does?
I don't think anyone
Shit,
does.
I don't think anybody does.
Like it's dangerous. It's scary.
Yeah, but
And
so are
like
nuclear bombs, though.
he said, so what?
Nuclear bombs are too.
Should
I
nobody
agree.
have access to those?
Exactly.
But we haven't blown ourselves up yet. I know
But
it's
how many
operative
threats have we
word.
faced?
No. If you really think about war and all that shit, and because, and I like one of the main reasons that I got out of the military. Imagine somebody telling you to go kill somebody and you do that shit, and then you find out the reasons that they tell you to do something may not be kosher or up to par, and then we'll kind of tell you you're doing this for your country and you just doing this shit. Yeah, like the field that I'm in and like the stuff that I'm seeing, man, these people are coming back fucked up and nobody has a damn thing to say about it. Hey, like, this shit is crazy, man.
They don't even care. That's so sad. Ooh, you give your life for
Girl,
this country. Like, and they like screw you
they
when you
can
get back and
barely
you need
get
help.
fucking benefits and have went and served the whole country.
Mm.
And I mean, they've had them do like some things that we're not currently used to within our human experience. So you will have medics coming back that have had to move dead bodies from one end of a place to another. You know what I'm saying? You've had people that have had to kill children, and
Mhm.
yeah, like this shit it's deep. Like it's so deep. And yeah, it's crazy.
So what are your thoughts on transhumanism?
What is that? Because baby, these trans words are killing me. They sending me.
Mr. George, you go first.
That's like the people being combined with like robots and shit. Um, I think it's another way to end everything that's natural. Everything that
Mm,
is a natural resource, we are trying to put a spin on it, re-engineer it,
mhm.
changing our DNA structures and shit. Man, I don't trust it.
Yeah. I don't. Mm.
I'll just say I think they're trying to do away with everything that's natural and then telling you as a natural born human being aren't good enough for your own life and
Mm.
trying to find upgraded versions of you. So then the machines will take over and kill us all. That's my thoughts.
I I think it's concerning because I saw a man that was into trans animalism, and I'm just making that up, but he
What?
actually
Oh,
spent
girl, I
twenty
was like,
thousand dollars on becoming a dog, like
dog. Oh, I
becoming like a
seen that.
girl. Like I feel like we going too far. Like baby, I like this. We beyond the twilight zone. Like and I feel like it started with like the liberalism is why, and then we have the nerve to police other countries that police the morality of other countries. Like what the hell? Everybody don't want a freak show. I think that we take stuff a bridge too far. Like I am just what I miss the damn 90s because this is
Girl,
too much for me. It's too much for me to even process.
it's crazy. And then to understand that the world isn't being controlled by like hundreds of thousands of people, but by a very few number of
Yeah,
people that's
yeah,
controlling the world.
yeah.
That shit is scary. And then with their you hear about the Illuminati and shit. um it's interesting now because I remember being a conspiracy theorist back when I was in high school, and there used to be like these little documentaries and shit, blood sacrifice. I was watching like all kinds of shit, and this was over 20 years ago. To see that shit coming like full circle now, and people like stars are really starting to talk about like what happens behind the scenes, and then to know that certain things are an agenda and it's certain agendas being pushed. It's some sick shit. This is some real sick shit.
Couldn't one argue that we already live in like an artificial environment that is out of the natural order of things, quote unquote?
Mm,
Definitely could be
yeah,
argued. It
yeah.
definitely could be argued. I just think it's like one of those things that's just little by little, everything that's natural is going to be made out to be like this bad thing, and everything that they have that's
What do you
artificial.
mean by natural? Give me some examples.
Okay. Even when it comes down to how a woman looks, um,
Hmm.
they put a real girl versus a fake girl up on a post, and 100% of the men went for the fake girl.
Of course.
Mm,
Um, so we're developing unrealistic expectations from each other as humans, on how we should look, how we should behave, what it's supposed to be. Love is being taken out of everything, especially as it pertains to the Black community, because we're not like expressing love is almost like you're being called a simp for even wanting to be in love or express love. And it's so funny. I wished a group of guys, I was like, I hope you guys all fall in love. And they was like, oh God, fuck that. And it was so funny to me. I was like, now if I told you motherfuckers to kiss my ass, y'all would be like, hey, cool, no problem. But I was like, I hope you all find love. And then that shit. And I'm like, think about the way that's conditioning people little by little. And we're kind of like we're low, like we're in a deep state of sleep right now. And I just, my fear is that people won't realize what's really happening. Is like by the time they realize, it's gonna be way too late. Or I think that people already know that the inevitable is coming and just saying, fuck it, let my student loans pile up. What's up?
It's hard. It's tough out here. Oof. Yeah.
There are Instagram pages that are dedicated to like AI generated women. And they actually do very well.
You
Tens
know
of
what?
thousands.
How much
though?
money you making on those?
No, I haven't created one, but I have thought about making one.
Oh,
Oh,
really
because
is.
I've seen some of your
Listen.
photos. Those are good too.
Oh, these,
that's
yeah.
actually not a bad idea. If people can fake like their AI, the AI girlies, the top girl is making $10,000 a day. They say $10,000 a day. And the crazy thing is, this is what I feel like femininity and what real women look like is becoming skewed. Like so much so that even when that Alphabet fight happened a couple like last week or whatever, you had the Alphabet people who have had surgical enhancements saying that we're mad that more men are attracted to them because they look like real women and da 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 da. Real women, especially one that's given birth, do have stretch marks. And I do. And I'm not like, real women with gravity, you're going to have some sagginess. Like, but it's like literally you want something that looks like perfection and does not age and is not impacted by their environment. And that's unrealistic. But it might look better and that's more desirable. But we're skewing the lines between what a natural born woman, natural born biological woman looks like and all the others.
We've had this discussion before about default women versus synthetics, e-mates, or whatever you want to call them. When that day comes, because it's not a question of if, I don't believe it is. Where does that leave women?
So you're saying women gonna be out in the cold, huh?
No, I'm just asking the question. It's not. I'm not trying to make the point of women coming
Winter
back
is
to the
coming.
table. But no,
Winter is coming. The hard plastic.
That's what it sounds like. He's trying to say. Winter is coming. What they gonna do,
baby?
Child, listen. I've been trying to get them
self-cleaning dolls or something.
No, because if you could create like your own, like if I could create a synth that looked like Holly Berry from Boomerang in 1992, I'm not looking at any other woman ever again. So if
you
we
say that until you until the bitch is just always completely happy and you ain't got no excitement in your life. And
no, I don't think like that. I think I don't. Well, I'm not gonna say that's a woman thing because I have heard younger guys talk like that. Like they don't want to be around a boring woman, but I've never heard any older guys say that like ever. Like all older guys want is boring.
No, but what it is when it comes down to these AI things, dolls and shit like that, and they're not able to express real love and passion. There's an essence about passion. There's an essence about anger. Or you can go through negative things in a relationship. Every relationship isn't going to be perfect. No relationship is perfect, But I think that with men, to me, men seem to have like this fairy tale of like you wake up every day, she's beautiful, her breath doesn't stink, she's always pleasant and not and don't get me wrong, I think women can be kind of pleasant and sweet and stuff, but I think we go through hormonal things, and we fuss and we love and
Yeah.
we teach, and then I'm wondering about certain aspects as it pertains to do you remember this show on A&E, and they had like these synths? What was that? Humans.
Yeah.
That's what the show. You ever watched that one?
Yep.
That was good too. The humans one was kind of interesting because, you know, of course, I guess they had the things develop personalities and shit like that, and you know, you can stick a personality in, and maybe they can, but I don't know, because men will talk from an aspect of wanting somebody to just be pleasant and be nice and feed them, and I think there's like, if you're dealing with a doll, I think there's always going to be a wonder if that doll can actually love you like a human can. And
I can't
I
even imagine. There's no
I don't even
substitution
think
for
they
human
care
connection.
though. That's the
Yeah.
shit that's crazy. I
That's
don't
kind
even
of
think that
sad
they
to me
care.
though. Like,
It
damn, that's
is.
a sad. Like, if we've literally gotten to the point that men would replace biological women with a doll because women, we're so divided. That's sad. Like, damn, like we're worse off than I thought.
So I was watching this video on TikTok earlier today. And I know Sister George has said this plenty of times on y'all show, that most men are lonely. And that's true. Most men, well, you take the artificial environment out, and most men don't reproduce. Most men go, you know, without having kids. So the way that the game is supposed to be played, that yeah, there are going to be men that are those men that can get most women, and then but for the average guy, the overwhelming majority of the guys, that they have to stand out, right? And this is supposed to be your fuel to achieve great things, build up resources, build up your body, your health, wellness, so on and so forth, to prove or to peacock to women that you are worthy of reproducing with. Now,
That's a good ass point.
I agree with all that. Now, since men's needs are very simple, sexual and you know, some cuddling or I can't think of the word right now. If that could be if a doll could be if a doll can simulate that, like, guys, they don't
What go?
need, like, real women can't compete with that. Like in Humans, the husband, like, he sleeps with the doll.
Yep. Didn't he fall in love with the doll?
No, because he got caught. Because
And well, I don't think I ever saw the ending of that series because we moved
neither.
and we don't have cable anymore. Or I don't have cable anymore because I had it, and then when we moved, you know, we have like all the streaming services and shit.
Yeah.
So I never did get to see the conclusion of or like what happened, but I thought he had fell in love with the doll at one point.
So what happened was he slept with the doll. His daughter goes looking through this sense root code, and she sees that it's been the doll has been I don't know, adult mode was activated, so she could have sex. He or the daughter assumes that it's her brother, right?
Yeah.
Because her brother has also been playing around with Mia, right? Holding her hand, feeling her leg, you know, teenage boy shit. She confronts him, The son knows it's the father.
Yep, I
Um,
remember that. Because
And
didn't the son catch him or something?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so yeah, that's when it comes out that the father slept with the doll, and then that's when he separated from his wife. But men's needs are very simple. And
Did
I
they
think
ever get divorced after that?
that's a good question. I've never seen season 3. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Now I want to go back and watch the entire series.
Right. Because that was a really good show too. That was a mind fuck too. Oh.
Yeah. Cynical one says, how about compatibility like compatible? Look, I think that's women shit.
Listen, I got one better for you though, Cynical. We've been talking about birth charts and shit. Me and Concrete was talking about that last night, but think about it like this. Your likeness, personality, and all that shit can be duplicated. Think about the AI girlfriends, and they're modeling AI girlfriends after real women, and you have men paying top dollar to be with these simulated internet girlfriends.
It's a booming business in Japan.
Damn.
Booming business.
Seriously?
Yep. They have video games dedicated. It's you think it is kind of sad, but that's like step one. Like you can't do. Okay, there's a documentary that Vice had. Oh God, we're talking about almost 10 years. They did a documentary on men in Japan. All they do is go to work and come home to their virtual girlfriends. Now, some of these guys have even married their virtual girlfriends. Yeah, I remember Tamagotchis, like late 90s. Like the little pets that you would hang around your neck or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like a big thing in middle school.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Those little things. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like pets that you take care of, little digital pets.
Yeah.
Some guys, they wear their girlfriend around their neck like they're a fucking Tamagotchi.
Wow.
Now, that was 10 years ago. So sex dolls or the hardware has not caught up to the software. But when it does, I don't see how. Forget about Passport Bros, because that'll be dead too.
Shit, that is gonna be dead.
That'll be dead too.
And then, have you seen like the new version of a sex doll?
I have not. I know you tried to trap me with that one, but
no. I'm saying, like, you remember when sex dolls used to look like blow up things?
Yeah. Oh yeah, like an actual blow up doll with the mouth wide open. Yeah.
The new ones look like real, like they're making like the booties, and like you can get them customized. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Don't take my idea. If you take my idea, just let me get like a small percentage of it though, right? When me and Curlin first started talking, for whatever reason, don't ask me how I ended up on the doll website, but y'all know I wanted to start a doll brothel.
I remember you telling me that.
Child, I would have made a killing. I really wanted to start a doll brothel.
Legal or underground?
If I could get away with doing it legally, shit, all the better.
You better go to Vegas and try to figure it out.
Child, they started one in, I think it was either Vegas or Amsterdam or something. They said, oh, it was Germany. Okay. They said that the line was around the fucking corner, and they said that the real women was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
They gotta go.
Yeah, the women's groups in Germany was not having it, which is crazy, right? Women's body, women's choice until they're out of business. Yeah, you can't compete. You can't compete with synthetic women that can. There's not gonna. You don't have to deal with women shit.
Can you imagine a fucking doll being like, "That's why I took your man."
That day is coming.
You sitting there calling her a fake bitch, and she's like, a fake bitch with your boyfriend.
Black men on my arm, no black men on your arm.
Right.
To be completely honest, I'm not surprised that white men are taking to it. I'm more surprised by black men in that it's like widely accepted, like that it's acceptable. Like
that's the feeling part, right?
Different generation.
But what it is that if you really think about how, of course, I don't think men in our spaces are going to be honest about the sex that they're having or the sex that they're not having. But, we've read all these articles that suggest that a lot of men aren't having sex. Matter of fact, sex is on the decline with women as well.
Yep.
So with sex being on a decline, with men getting on in these spaces and talking about, they just want women to be nicer to them, or looking for love, I actually think is a recipe. The recipe is being set for it. And I think more will go than what we would actually anticipate, and ain't gonna have no problem with it. And curse our ass out for even talking about them. We're gonna be the minority in that.
What's the percentage of
Why?
men that are not having sex?
I don't
I think
know.
it's either 30 or 50.
I thought it was like
high.
32.
I think
I
it's
thought
like
it was
30.
30. It was something like that. I wonder why there aren't, male dolls for women. I know we
come
have.
with the paycheck.
Good night.
Actually,
All right.
Concrete.
There are male
And
dolls.
so they don't seem popular. They
They're
don't
not
seem popular.
They're not popular because women don't have to work to get sex. Men have to work to get sex.
Exactly.
Good point.
Exactly. Yeah, women will actually have to shell out money for, you're not really benefiting. I say this all the time: women are sellers, not buyers. So yeah, men will be the. Matter of fact, I mean, I agree with the SG. More men will become incels as the generations go along, and they're gonna need an outlet somewhere, right? It may be AI generated images on Reddit or on Instagram. It may be Rule 54 videos on Pornhub or whatever. They could.
Rule 54, I'd never seen those.
Rule 54, it's either Rule 54 or 45. So, Rule 54 is actually where if you take like an anime or a movie or anything else like that that's not porn related, you make it porn related. So let's say like Super Mario, and for example, you just make a porn out of that. Someone will make a 3D model of Mario, 3D model of Princess Peach, or whatever.
They
So
just
it's kinda
ruining
like
folks'
period.
childhood. Ew.
Say that again.
So it's like parody.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a huge thing with like Overwatch. Rule 34. I don't know the number, Curlin. You might be right. 34, 42, 52. I don't know. Rule 34 sounds good. Go ahead, Rose.
Okay. Well, I get like there's always been kinks around that type of stuff. Because what is it when they do like the characters, like people dress up and wear those costumes on their heads, and like that's a whole fetish. Like,
How you know
That's
about
a
that
whole-
concrete?
Here we
you
go.
know what? Let me get off of here. I watched My True Life on MTV. Don't do that. Don't do that. Anyways,
You talking about
girl.
furries?
what are they called?
Furries, they just like
Furries. Yeah. Look, see now MGTOW know the name, so he
Girl,
has
I
to-
expect MGTOW to know.
That's
Oh.
hilarious.
Help me out, girl. Let me know.
No, it's a big thing with some like Overwatch and video games and stuff like that. I mean, people will make porn out of anything. So
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, we're a sick fucking
Yeah.
species, yo.
okay, I know y'all got things to do. I got to do some studying. Are there any thoughts that you all have?
How did you see that bug on my wall?
Danny, she don't let stuff go, baby.
When
She's
you
sad.
tilted your okay, so here was my thinking. When you tilted your camera up, when you thought the entire world was looking at your cleavage, I saw a spot above your live light. I'm like, okay, so that can't be a pin because that's at the crease of the wall and the ceiling. It's not big enough to be a roach, so it can only be a spider. So that was my guess.
That's brilliant.
I didn't actually see like the legs or something. I I wish my eyesight was that damn good.
That's still pretty good because I didn't even notice it. Like, oh, that's
Hell, I'm in here and I looked around and I barely saw my damn stuff. I know I need glasses
Wow.
still.
This was a great conversation. Like, I really enjoyed this. Like, just talking about a variety of topics under the AI umbrella and a little bit of capitalism, sprinkled with some other things. I enjoyed this conversation more than I even anticipated. So yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Y'all know this be my shit, child. I love talking about shit like this because I'm a conspiracy theorist. So this was right up my alley. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it because it's right up my alley.
Do
I
y'all
love shit
think?
like this.
Do y'all think that all of this is some sort of conspiracy, like like open AI and all these models? Because like Meta keeps on releasing stuff, and open AI, like it's all steam ahead. Like no one's slowing down.
It depends on what you define as a conspiracy because I think the conspiracies are now truth. Yeah, I think the conspiracies are now truth. All the shit that I used to think I was a conspiracy, like I was a conspiracy theorist for, I've absolutely seen it play out. From technology to the music industry, social media, like everything that I thought I've seen that shit play out. So I don't disillusion myself to tell myself that I'm just tripping and they ain't really doing what I think they're doing. They're doing exactly what I think they're doing.
That part.
And then I have some very, 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 very dark thoughts about the shit that's going on and how to rectify it. And so it kind of drives me toward my spiritual base even more so because we just don't know what's happening.
I think that I don't like. I'm not a person that usually throws the word conspiracy theory out. I mean, I'll use it because it's what people understand, but I believe that that's used to like shame people into not looking beyond the image that's being shown. Like, you know, it's essentially used when people are doing like a magic trick and they want you to pay attention to one hand and not pay attention to the other. So I think like when I think about like my husband is the one who kind of opened my eyes to this, and he talks about like when Bush would always say, you know, talk about weapons of mass destruction and like and literally that's what they do in order to shame you into not believing, like, you know, essentially don't believe your lying eyes. So I, you know, don't think that it's a conspiracy theory. I think that we're too far in it to have doubts surrounding what's going on and what the future holds as it relates to AI.
Speaking of which, are aliens a thing now?
Child,
that's what they say.
aliens been
They're
a
supposed to look
thing.
like black men. They say they 6'4" black men. That's what they described it like as. They said they look like us.
Oh boy, of course.
Real talk. That's what they said.
Child, not the aliens being fine, child.
Look, I said.
Is that what black women gonna have to do? Is they gonna have to get the alien men, child? Is that what they're gonna have to
I
do?
heard black women saying, "Listen, we need a new breed of men down here."
They damn sure close, honey.
Ooh.
Girl, did you see our trouble like
Good night.
All right, thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. Y'all check out the breakdown, A Woman's Perspective on Sunday. Y'all having a show this Sunday, right? Or no?
Of course, yes.
You say of course. I'm like, I was like,
Yes.
she be saying, of course. You saw how silent I got. I was like,
yes, we gonna be there. Don't listen to her silence.
oh, child. I was like, baby,
Don't listen to her silence.
Thank you for everyone coming. Cynical One, Curlin, Ghost, everyone. Thank y'all so much. Hit that like button, and y'all have a good night.
thank you. Y'all too.
You're welcome. Peace.